Cooper Flagg is the hottest name in college basketball today and is set to be the top overall pick of the 2025 NBA Draft. But is he really worth the hype? With his unique 6'9" build, along with his complete scoring package at only 17 years old, he's proven himself to be good enough to compete at the highest level against NBA stars when he played against Team USA during their Olympics practice. LeBron and other NBA players have spoken very highly of him, and even Kevin Garnett is quite excited about this young prospect.
Yeah, he got superstar around him. I can see kids wanting to be like that and play like that.
So, what makes Cooper Flagg so good and impressive compared to other prospects? Let's go back to how all this hype started. Unlike a lot of great basketball prospects, Cooper Flagg did not grow up in a city known for producing basketball stars. He was born in Newport, Maine, a very small town with just a little over 3,000 residents. Flagg was basically your definition of a small town boy. But the young prospect didn't let his roots prevent him from dominating the sport of basketball early on. He first attended Nokomis Regional High School, a very small program that was never known for being one of the basketball powerhouses in Maine. But Flagg was an instant star the moment he stepped foot onto the floor. As a freshman, he averaged 20.5 points per game, 10 rebounds, 6.2 assists, and almost 4 steals and 4 blocks per game. He became the first freshman in history to be named Maine Gatorade Player of the Year. On top of that, he led his high school to the state championship, claiming that title with 22 points and 16 rebounds in the state finals. But the first thing you'd probably think is that this isn't a big deal, because he was a talented freshman playing for a school that didn't have a ton of talent, and going up against other programs that weren't known for being strong basketball competitors. In short, he was kind of a big fish in a small pond. Knowing that he needed exposure and stronger competition to get to the next level, Cooper and his twin brother Ace transferred to Montverde Academy in Montverde, Florida. This school is known for producing a lot of NBA players, including Ben Simmons, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, and Cade Cunningham. Now, moving from Nokomis to Montverde meant that he had to make a huge adjustment. He wasn't going to get the same minutes, touches, and shot attempts that he did when he was still in Maine. But that didn't matter, because Flagg made the transition look seamless because he was a natural fit to Montverde's overpowered lineup full of talented players. Unlike a lot of high school stars, Flagg was all about the team. He showed a good combination of selflessness, high basketball IQ, and a natural feel as a sophomore. Flagg was even named the MVP of 2023 Hoop Hall Classic after scoring 21 points with 5 steals, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists in a win over La Lumiere. His high school coach Kevin Boyle knows talent when he sees one, because he's coached the likes of Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, and RJ Barrett. But he was already impressed with what the 6'8" sophomore was doing at that stage in his career. Cooper was showing potential as a star, not only because of his physical tools and skills, but also because of his hard work. Boyle said he was a terrific athlete who could play on the perimeter and defend multiple positions because of his size, mobility, and great hand-eye coordination. Flagg, of course, had pretty good stats on a very stacked team during his sophomore year. He averaged 9.8 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 3 assists. He was already showing the total package, even though some people thought he was still a bit raw. The first season in Montverde was all he needed to realize he was progressing quite well for his age. Just after his sophomore year, he represented Maine United in the EYBL and averaged ridiculous numbers. He averaged 25.4 points, 13 rebounds, 5.7 assists, and almost 7 blocks in 7 games at the Peach Jam tournament. He and his twin brother Ace outplayed and defeated Cameron and Caden Boozer, the twin sons of the former NBA All-Star Carlos Boozer. Cooper's quick rise as a basketball prodigy convinced him to reclassify in the 2024 class, meaning he was going to be leaving high school a year early. Shortly after that, he committed to join the Duke Blue Devils for the 2024-25 season as the top prospect of his high school class. Yes, he was rated higher than other teenagers at least a year older, and his performances in his final season in high school proved he was ready for the collegiate grind. Flagg averaged 16.4 points, 7.5 rebounds, 3.8 assists, 2.7 blocks during his final season with Montverde. He was named Mr. Basketball USA, and a Naismith Prep Player of the Year. But the most impressive part was that he was given a chance to show his stuff against the best of the best in the entire world. He was named to the Team USA Select Team, which practiced against the United States team that eventually won the gold medal in the Paris Olympics. Yeah, he went up against LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Jason Tatum, and the best American players the NBA had to offer. The most impressive part was that he more than held his own against those guys. He's a generational talent with the skills, poise, and athleticism of a true NBA star. At just 17 years old, he went up against players twice his age, or has been playing in the NBA longer than Cooper Flagg has been alive. The 6'9" forward was showing signs of stardom in that scrimmage against Team USA, using athleticism and shot creation abilities to his advantage. He wasn't afraid of sizing up Anthony Davis out on the three-point line before hitting a pull-up jumper over the outstretched arms of one of the greatest defensive players in the world. Then down on the post, he used his height and length over the shorter Drew Holiday, who is known as one of the greatest perimeter defenders in the league, to shoot a turnaround shot. Flagg didn't have a lot of touches and shots, but in the few plays he had in that scrimmage, he showcased a good understanding of how to use his tools and skills in specific matchup situations. Against Davis, he used his perimeter shooting instead of forcing the issue against the bigger and longer player. And against Holiday, he used his physical advantages down on the post. Cooper was so good against Team USA that he earned praise from Kevin Durant.
He looked like a hell of a player, somebody that's just going to only get better with more experience. 17 years old, coming in here playing like he's a vet almost, no emotion, just going out there and doing his job, and that's a good sign.
Gilbert Arenas, in his podcast, even proclaimed Flagg as a future NBA star because he had already proven himself capable of holding his own against the best players the USA had to offer.
Kenyon, what you think about Cooper Flagg?
He ain't just tall, he athletic, can shoot it, can handle it.
There are simply a lot of things to like about Cooper Flagg and what he can do out on the court. He can score off the dribble, get to the basket to finish strong, and make plays for others. But the one aspect scouts love about him is his defensive abilities. When you look at a standout high school player, they mostly focus on offense because that's the part of the game that gets the most attention. But Flagg was already an exception as early as his freshman season because his effort on defense was just as impressive as his offensive production. He was already a master of the help side block during his high school career. Flagg used his impressive vertical leaping ability and advanced awareness to suddenly come out of nowhere to block shots. He was getting a ton of block shots as a high schooler, even though he didn't have the size and length of a center. On top of that, he knows how to use his quickness to get his hands into the passing lane and get steals. Flagg's defensive skills make him an intriguing prospect for a lot of NBA teams, even if his offense doesn't immediately transition to the professional level. His offense will catch up, but his defensive effort and innate basketball IQ make him an instant asset on that end of the court. Of course, he's not going to block a lot of shots and steal a ton of possessions in the NBA, or even in college. The important part is that he has the makings of a versatile defensive player during a day and age when the defense has taken a step back to offense. Defensively, Flagg sees himself as a new age Kevin Garnett because he knows he can defend any position on the floor. He knows how to block shots, get steals, and grab rebounds at high levels. Sure, he's not as big or long as KG, but the defensive versatility is there. But he can be a better player because of his offense. At this point, Flagg doesn't do a lot of elite things on offense yet, but he can do a mix of different things. He's got a good jump shot that extends out to the NBA three-point line. He's shown his ability to create shots off the dribble, but his bread and butter as a scorer is his ability to get to the basket, where he can dunk the ball or finish strong against any defender using his size. Flagg has also shown a bit of LeBron in him. He's 6'9", but is a willing passer and playmaker. He sees the floor better than most point guards, and his unselfishness is what sets him apart, because he doesn't always need to be the one scoring the ball. That means that he knows how to play team basketball the right way. He does have a few weaknesses though, as everyone does. Flagg's body is not ready for the NBA. At 6'9" and just a little over 200 pounds, he's going to be playing small forward and power forward a lot. In small lineups, however, he's going to be matching up with power forwards, Although his versatility and shooting can turn him into a matchup nightmare for slower forwards, he's probably going to struggle against their physicality. There's also the issue of his shot creation at the NBA level. Sure, he's shown flashes of his ability to generate offense off the dribble, but he's not yet up to the level of the likes of Kevin Durant and Jason Tatum. It might take time before he's going to be a complete offensive package. Despite his weaknesses, he is the favorite to go first overall in the 2025 NBA draft. There aren't a lot of contenders. The closest one is the 6'6" point guard Dylan Harper, the son of former NBA player Ron Harper. Like his dad, he has the makings of a top guard in the NBA. With his size, Harper can be a matchup nightmare on both ends of the floor, but he hasn't shown the kind of versatility that Flagg has displayed. Meanwhile, Ace Bailey may look like a better scorer and athlete. Still, Flagg is the superior playmaker and defensive asset. If Bailey is Durant, then Flagg is LeBron. So, if you compare him to other high-ranking prospects, Cooper Flagg is the safest bet to go top overall, as he doesn't have a lot of weaknesses in his game and can do a bit of everything. Sure, he probably won't be at LeBron's greatness as a versatile superstar, but anything close to the King's level should be good enough for any player. In that sense, he's going to be a plug-and-play future star who will be willing to do anything to help his team win. If he's not scoring, he's going to make plays or play tough defense, and he can't say that about any other young prospect. But we've seen a lot of players failing to reach expectations after all the hype they got in high school and college. Remember Imani Bates? His high school videos were all over the internet, but he can't even get minutes in the NBA. Ben Simmons, meanwhile, was supposed to be the next versatile superstar. He initially lived up to the hype, but failed to grow into a true game-changing player. Still, if you look at the way Flagg has been playing in college, you'd think that he'd do alright in the league. In his debut game with Duke, he was doing it all. He was dunking in traffic, putting his hands in the passing lanes, and carrying himself with poise as a playmaker. Flagg finished his debut against Maine with 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. ESPN's Jonathan Giovanni calls him an absolute star because he does everything on the floor at a high level and also gives full effort on both ends.
Cooper Flagg was really impressive yesterday on both ends of the floor.
So, if his debut game is any indication of what he can do, it looks like he's going to be alright in college, even if that game against Maine wasn't really competitive. We're yet to see what Flagg is capable of against a top collegiate team. But Flagg's best asset right now is his age. He's only 17 years old, and he won't be 18 until December. Meanwhile, if he decides to make the jump to the NBA in 2025, he's going to be one of the youngest players in the league. He has a ton of time to develop into a game-changing star in college, and eventually in the NBA. And we do know he's humble enough to accept there's no assurance he's going to be the top overall pick. What that means is that he doesn't see himself as the best player in his draft class. That's the kind of mentality you want out of a young prospect, because he knows he still has a ton of room for growth. So at this point, you can't really say if Cooper Flagg is going to be the next face of the NBA. But we do know that he's showing all the potential to be great. He still has a lot to prove as a consistent contributor in college as a member of the Duke Blue Devils. But if he continues to grow and develop in college, we'll likely see him in the NBA very soon. If you want a more in-depth analysis of Cooper Flagg's playing style and his basketball IQ, leave a comment down below. I'll be sure to read it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.